Hello and welcome to An Old Man Watches. And today I'm going to be talking about Angel and the Badman, a 1947 John Wayne Western. And in this film we meet Quirt Evans, a notorious gunman. Wounded and on the run, he gallops onto a farm owned by Thomas Worth, who is a Quaker. Quakers, if you don't know, are a staunchly pacifist group. They preach non-violence, and this is going to be important to the film's plot. Also important for the purposes of the film's plot is that Worth's family includes his beautiful daughter Penelope, or Penny. Penny tends to the injuries of the delirious outlaw as he recovers, and surprise, surprise, when Quirt awakens, he's immediately struck with a deep interest in the attractive young brunette. Penny returns those feelings, though she makes it very clear she could never be with a man of violence that contravenes her beliefs. As it happens, Quirt's actually at the point in his life where he would like to put his outlaw ways behind him, which of course is easier said than done. A man with his history attracts the attention of the law, for one thing, and for another it means he has a lot of history with other men of violence, and not all of them wish him well or wish to see him leave the path that he has been on. Is the love of a good woman enough to make the outlaw hang up his guns forever, or will the unfinished business of his past prove too pressing for him to ignore? That's what the film is going to be about. So, a little bit of context. After catapulting to stardom with Stagecoach in 1939, John Wayne rapidly became one of Hollywood's most bankable leading men. So much so that when he made no effort to avoid the draft during World War II, Republic Studios actually threatened a lawsuit for breach of contract if he were to actually be enlisted. In those circumstances, it's probably unsurprising in his later years he formed his own production company. While that didn't happen until the early 50s, he did make his first foray into production with this film. And I think he had a good eye for projects, this definitely feels above average for a Western of the time. So there's a couple of reasons for that. I'm going to talk about them. So let's get stuck in. So first of all, this is much more a romantic drama than an action film, which might surprise some people who are kind of more familiar with the archetypical John Wayne role. He's best known for playing wholesome man-of-action heroic types. So the fact that this isn't really an action film, it has some action scenes, but it's not an action film, might seem surprising, and so might the character of Quirt Evans. Quirt Evans is a conflicted man, a man on the wrong side of the law who ultimately realises he wants nothing more than to put aside violence. It's a bit different from what you might see as the norm for John Wayne. I'm pleased to say that he does a good job as the tough but tired former outlaw who is ready for a new start and a different way of life. But his success in the role probably shouldn't be that much of a surprise. Wayne was always capable of more range than the two-fisted hero archetype for which he's best known. Perhaps not enough range to stretch to convincingly portraying Genghis Khan, something he did actually attempt in the 1956 critical failure The Conqueror. And if you so much as Google images from that film, you'll probably understand why. But films like The Searchers and True Grit show his ability to play more complex character types than the unblemished hero, and indeed his breakthrough role as 1939 Stagecoach was actually as a renowned outlaw, the Ringo Kid, whose courage ultimately wins him redemption. So Wayne was capable of more than the one character type for which he is best known, and he shows it here. The love of a good woman makes a bad man mend his ways is not exactly groundbreakingly original stuff, plot-wise. It's a little bit idealistic, a little bit simplified, perhaps. And indeed, there's very little to Angel and the Badman that I would characterise as especially novel or original. It could probably be described as pretty much sticking to a conventional formula. But I've often said in these videos and elsewhere that execution matters more in innovation, and I definitely think that applies here. The cast of this film all know their jobs and they do them well. I've already mentioned that Wayne is good in the lead role and he's ably matched by Gail Russell as Pennyworth. With these capable leads in place, writer-director James Edward Grant, who would later go on to be Oscar-nominated for a later film, demonstrates a deft touch in capturing Quirt Evans' struggle between the shadow of his past and the hopes he has for his future. And those factors all combine to make for an unusually low-key but very entertaining and effective Western drama. So yeah, execution trumps innovation. The last thing that I want to talk about is off-screen drama, the real-world story behind the film, which is not quite so happy as that of Quert and Penny. The chemistry between John Wayne and Gail Russell was apparently a little too convincing for the tastes of Esperanza Barr, who was Wayne's wife at the time. She was his second wife, whom he married after his first marriage ended due to his infidelity. And she was perhaps understandably afraid that he was repeating his extramarital antics with her. One night when he arrived home late and drunk, she pointed a gun at him and nearly shot him. That marriage would actually stagger on for a few more years, despite this incident. But when it finally did come to an end, Esperanza accused Wayne of habitual drunkenness and abusive behaviour. Accusations he denied, but then he would hardly admit to them if they were true. So, who knows? I'm not saying they were true. I'm not saying they weren't. I don't know. I don't think we ever will. We do know that both Esperanza and Gail Russell would be dead by the age of 40 following struggles with alcoholism. So for all that this is a film about the power of wholesome life and love, and the real life story behind Angel and the Badman is rather darker. That doesn't invalidate the film's success as a work of cinema. It's just something of a sort of sad coda to this review. And with that in mind, next time I'll be doing something a little bit lighter, the 1977 creature feature, The Crater Lake Monster. Spoiler, said monster looks nothing like the silhouette in the poster, which is obviously intended to evoke an allosaur or T-Rex or other sauropod of that nature. Yeah, it doesn't look anything like that. But that's next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it.